Greens are coming for you, Rhaenyra. And for your children. You should leave Dragonstone at once.
I want to talk about how Rhaenyra deals with loss, or she has dealt with loss in this episode. Really great episode too. Really great episode. And let's think about this, right? Rhaenyra lost her mom when she was a kid. Then about 20 years later, she loses her father. And as she gets news of her father's death, she has a miscarriage. And then at the end of the episode, she loses her son, her favorite son. If that is not going to send Rhaenyra into wrath and rage, if that's not going to make her murder and kill and finish the Greens, I don't know what is. We've seen Rhaenyra as a peaceful leader. We've seen her peaceful. But now they have put or instilled anger in her. So, Rhaenyra is now going to be an evil woman. Well, I don't know about evil, but we're seeing a different side of Rhaenyra. So let's first talk about this, right? Let's think about mourning and this episode and the way that Rhaenyra has mourned in this episode. And the first thing is thinking about the fact that when it came to her mother's death, she got to bleed that out. So she understands what mourning looks like, what it feels like, overcoming her mother's death, you know, having the whole family distraught by that. She understands what that looks like. And then all of a sudden, she gets 3 in 1 in a short period of time. Her father, her miscarriage, and then her favorite son. It's back to back to back. So in a way, even though Rhaenyra didn't want to start this war, she didn't want to, kick off this war, she had to, because she's already experiencing the spoils of war. She's already experiencing, I said, the spoils of war, the hardships of war, the pain of war. The war has already started within her. Because because this is a woman that understands what mourning looks like. It's one thing if you just lose a bunch of family for the first time and you've never seen anything like that. But when you actually understand what it looks like, and then having that sort of memory that you don't even get the opportunity to mourn your father, your miscarriage, and your favorite son. You don't even have the opportunity. It all happens all at once. How much more resentful would you be? How much, and where are you going to place blame, right? When you look at their relationship with the Greens, all of the loss that she's had in her life has been a result of the Greens in her eyes. Okay, apart from her mom, but her father, we have Daemon questioning the death of her father. How did he die? Just after they left, they just saw him alive. That's the first strike. Daemon is insinuating, blame the Greens. Second strike, she has a miscarriage after hearing news that the Greens did what? They stole her throne, her crown. That's another place that it's an irrational blame. But I think when somebody's emotional, you can be irrational. You can place blame just so you can cope better. You can place blame anywhere. That's the next one. Then the actual loss that is the most painful, I think, of all of them, because they say there's nothing quite like the worst thing for anyone to experience is losing a child. And yes, a miscarriage is terrible and horrific, but she never got to know that child. She's lost her parents. People lose their parents. She's never got to know this miscarriage. But when she loses Luke, her favorite son, that sends her into this anger that is, unspeakable. Because this is the real pain here. She's watched him grow for 14 years. We saw them in the beginning of the episode. Her affection towards him, how she babies him, how she loves him. We saw that in the episode. How he views her, their close relationship. He calls her perfect. We see this love that she has for her son. and she loses him. Now, this is the thing that sends Rhaenyra into rage, and I imagine this is the Rhaenyra that we're going to see in next season is the one that is going to, come for people's heads. I think it's unfortunate that this had to happen to her because it could have been avoided. And I appreciate her trying to avoid any sort of war, but I think she kind of did this to herself. If she did as Daemon requested, her son would be alive. And that's another thing that she's going to have to deal with now, because she had the opportunity to kill Otto Hightower. She had the opportunity to almost end this war, and she didn't get that opportunity. Now she understands. So this is a pain that Rhaenyra cannot even fathom.